you know me, and then sometimes it can be a monologue rather than a dialogue. So I'd love to ask you a few questions,
Oh
if
my
that's okay.
gosh. Okay. Well, let's do it. Okay, quick.
Okay,
We'll do it quickly.
conversation, not
Okay.
questions.
Okay.
But so tell me your aha moment last year, within 2021, 2022. What is it that where you went, hmm, that's it?
Well, I would have to say that it's every year I have these clicks
Yeah.
where I reevaluate very critically the idea that doing less is more, and you have to slow down a lot to speed up. And I think when you run always at 130, 180, whatever you want to go, full out, right? You never have time to actually get better at something because you're so focused on just surviving what you're doing. And so for me, the aha moment has been you've got to slow down to speed up. You absolutely have to do that. And sometimes you got to come to a halt to move forward. Metaphorically, that has been a very important part of my, I guess, growth in the last year.
And the other thing, Mo, not many people might not reflect on your contribution globally through your trials. So I know it's very different doing a trial, quote unquote, dare I say, in the first world with
Oh, yeah.
G6 countries.
Yeah, right,
But you have a track record of doing with many, many, many other countries.
right.
Can you reflect on, other than just the trial results, how do you think that participation of those countries in trials with the first world might have impacted both ways, our learnings, and for them to be exposed to a kind of medicine and kind of rigor with trials that they may or may not be used to?
Yeah, the fundamental part of this quote idea of going global, which is, again, a cliche in pretty well every major talk about research, going global, great. What does that actually mean? It actually means interacting with human beings who actually, in many ways that I've learned, have the exact same hopes and dreams as you do and have the exact same compelling nature to want to make a difference. However they do that, we always get more than we give on any of those trials. So the idea that we're coming in with a quote trial infrastructure and this, oh, that's great. That isn't the real value of these interactions with individuals. The meaningful interaction with individuals is broadening your mind to someone else's perspective on the same topic, but someone's perspective that may be very, very different from yours. And guess what, Kish? That's idea generation. That's creativity, because you realize we are way more alike than we are different. Despite this perception that borders separate us, despite this perception that, quote, infrastructure and economies separate us, not at all. The individuals within these economies and within these borders are just like you and me. And that, for me, is a fundamental truth and the reason why it is something that we absolutely cannot lose sight of.
Thank you. And my last question to you is, everybody asks about, I believe leadership is action, not a position. But that being said, when you took over as a chair of a McMaster orthopedic division, it's very different now to where it is. You've not only taken a whole department, but you developed a whole layer of local, national, and global leaders. And could you reflect a little bit on their journey? And I just read a great post from Femi yesterday when he got the CRC about the timelines to
right.
what you told him and where he is now.
Yeah.
But clearly he's got his own distinct DNA. Absolutely. And he's going to inspire.
Yeah.
He inspires me. He's going to inspire many people that are ahead of him. There are many people that are coming through the pipeline.
Right.
But could you talk about a little bit of their journey? Is that intentional, or did you let life happen as it happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of everything, right? Like, so for example, it's always interesting, right? When great things happen and you happen to be in a position of leadership during that time, you take all the credit. So, oh yeah, it's all me. It's all the things I did. When things don't happen, you take all the credit. So,
absolutely.
I mean, the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, way back when, and I'll have to get Femi in here and chat with him, and maybe we'll get him here next time. But we were trying to get him out of the way today, but it's just time. See, it's about time. We got to get these things organized. But the thing with Femi, as an example, as an individual that was particularly special, as many individuals in our field are special, but he was special in the context of, it was the sense of, Femi, stay true to who you are, and number two, it will come. slow down to speed up. I don't know. I wasn't saying it quite that eloquently, but that's what we were doing. I said, don't be in a rush. I was that guy trying to be in a rush, and it doesn't always help. Like it doesn't get you there any faster being in a rush. In fact, as we know, we've all been in rush hour traffic where someone's flying by you and you're weaving through traffic, and about 10 minutes later you pass them.
Yeah, that's right.
It does not always happen, right? So for me, the biggest lesson with Femi, and I'll let him speak for himself on this topic, I'm sure he's got his own ideas, was just make sure, I opened as many doors as I possibly can, given whatever limitations or abilities I had. I try to do that for him. I try to let him basically soar to the extent he wanted to soar. And I guess the last thing was I ensured he understood every single year that the vision he had for himself actually was too small, and that others saw a greater vision in him than he may have seen in himself. And I think he's starting to. He's such a humble man. He's starting to believe that he has a greater calling. And I can't wait, and I genuinely meant it. I genuinely can't wait to see what happens with individuals like Femi, but also just so many more that you and I have had the chance to see. Like, you and I are a part of a generation. Crazy, I can't believe we're saying this. We're part of a generation that people shouldn't be looking to be Mo Bendari 2.0, right? They shouldn't. There's no such thing, right?
There's several.
Yeah, right. They shouldn't be. You know what they should be doing? They should think, what's different? Like, you and I don't want, clones. We want individuals to say, what's next? Do what we can't do.
Absolutely.
Like, take whatever knowledge that we have and add to it, right? Be creative. Have a bigger vision for yourself, and let us hoist you as high as we can towards the sky. That's what I love, and I genuinely get excited about the jobs we're in.
Mo, we tell probably the same in a very, slightly different way. I tell everyone, if you have a vision and a want to go to moon, you will at least go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
So it's not a great analogy, but what I always tell people is have a purposeful and meaningful life and career, and have lofty goal, but don't bother if you don't achieve it. But have a lofty goal, right? And then as you were just saying, like Femi, it was a local leader, became a national leader, now a global leader.
Yeah.
That last journey of being relevant to 90% of the world, 80% of the effort is to actually be a leader, be very relevant, contribute.
Yeah.
And I think my advice to everyone is that last 20% effort, you could go from being relevant to 38 million people in Canada to be relevant to 6 billion.
Absolutely.
So that's what I tell everyone in the department is, think about that little bit of an effort where if you have an opportunity to be relevant 6 billion, why wouldn't you be?
Fully agree. That's exactly it. And the point is, not everyone has to aspire to everything.
Yes.
Right? You can't do everything.
Chase your own dream.
You can't do a thing, right? You don't have to. But anybody can aspire to anything.
Exactly.
They just shouldn't do everything.
Yes. I agree with you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
I feel like I've been interviewed. This is great.
I know, absolutely.
This is gonna be
have you ever had anybody come to OE and interview you?
You just flipped it. Man. I was like, whoa, what happened here? Okay, fair enough. We'll have to break it up.
But that's how we often have our conversations, and it's been a real pleasure.
Yeah.
And again, I couldn't agree more. If there's one takeaway, don't have agendas when you want to get to know people.
We did not have an agenda.
Exactly
that is for
right.
Sure. Awesome.
We just chatted, conversation, loved it. Thank you, Mo.
Until next time, my friend.
Exactly. Thank you.
Cheers.